Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the Spanish tragedy, and we get to hear from Hieronimo today in Act 3, Scene 2. Now, Hieronimo is the father of Horatio, who was killed by Balthazar and Lorenzo in a rather grotesque manner, and at the same time, Bellimperia was captured and taken away. She had to watch the whole thing, which was not lovely. And Hieronimo is very much still grieving for the loss of his son, and has also sworn to get revenge if he can find out who was responsible for the murder. And then in the interim between that and now, this Act 3, Scene 2, we got to check in with the Viceroy of Portugal, who was very upset because he thought that Balthazar was dead and he was going to kill Alexandro for that. But then the Portuguese ambassador showed up and was like, nope, he's not dead, everything's fine. So Alexandro was freed, and we come to find out, the Viceroy of Portugal came to find out, that Vellupo framed Alexandro, so now Vellupo is scheduled to die by some really horrific means. And that was the end of Act 3, Scene 1. So Act 3, Scene 2 kicks off. We're outside the Duke of Castile's place, and we've got Hieronimo there saying, "Oh, eyes. No eyes, but fountains fraught with tears. Oh, life. No life, but lively form of death. Oh, world. No world, but mass of public wrongs, confused and filled with murder and misdeeds. Oh, sacred heavens, if this unhallowed deed, if this inhuman and barbarous attempt, if this incomparable murder thus of mine, but now no more my son, shall unrevealed and unrevenged pass, how should we term your dealings to be just if you unjustly deal with those that in your justice trust? The night, sad secretary to my moans, with direful visions wakes my vexed soul, and with the wounds of my distressful son solicits me for notice of his death. The ugly fiends do sally forth of hell, and frame my steps to unfrequented paths, and fear my heart with fierce inflamed thoughts. The cloudy day my discontents records, early begins to register my dreams, and drive me forth to seek the murderer. Eyes, life, world, heavens, hell, night and day, see, search, show, send some man, some mean that may... What's here? A letter? Tush, it is not so. A letter? Written to Hieronimo? For want of ink, receive this bloody writ. Me hath my hapless brother hid from thee. Revenge thyself on Balthazar and him, for these were they that murdered thy son. Hieronimo, revenge Horatio's death, and better fare than Bellimperia doth. What means this unexpected miracle? My son, slain by Lorenzo and the prince? What cause had they Horatio to malign? Or what might move thee, Bellimperia, to accuse thy brother, had he been the mean? Hieronimo, beware. Thou art betrayed, and to entrap thy life this train is laid. Advise thee, therefore, be not credulous. This is devised to endanger thee, that thou by this Lorenzo shouldst accuse, and he, for thy dishonor done, should draw thy life in question and thy name in hate. Dear was the life of my beloved son, and of his death behooves me be revenged. Then hazard not thine own, Hieronimo, but live to effect thy resolution. I therefore will by circumstances try what I can gather to confirm this writ. And, hearkening near the Duke of Castile's house, close if I can with Bellimperia, to listen more, but nothing to bewray. Now, Pedringano, So there's a lot going on in this monologue. He starts out still very much in mourning, still very sad about the loss of his son, and sort of railing against the heavens for telling humans to be just when they treat just humans in such an unjust manner. Because he is of the opinion that Horatio was a good man and didn't deserve this, and he can't figure out why anybody would have wanted to kill Hieronimo in the first place. But, you know, he knows that he needs to get revenge, and the thought of not having revenge yet, and as he sits and thinks about these things at night and sees the shadows and all this, when it gets to morning time, he wakes up with this overwhelming compulsion to go out and find out who killed Horatio. And he's like, somebody just give me a sign to point me in the right direction. And then he finds this letter written to him in blood from Bellimperia, saying it was Balthazar and my brother Lorenzo that did it. So go get your revenge on them. And he's like, wait, this is a little too easy. This is probably like, why would Bellimperia say that? And how is it possible that Lorenzo and my son and Balthazar killed my son? Like, this is framing me. This is a letter sent to frame me because it wants me to go accuse Lorenzo, so then I will be found out to be crazy and I will die. But then he remembers that what he really wants is revenge for Horatio. So he's like, all right, I need to go find more proof to see if this letter is correct. So he's like, I'm near the Duke of Castile's house right now. I'm going to see if I can talk to Bellimperia and maybe get some more information from her that might shed some light as to whether or not what she said in this letter is true. And Pedrangano comes in and he's like, hey, Pedrangano, where is Bellimperia? And Pedrangano kind of dodges the question until Lorenzo comes out, and then he's like, so Lorenzo, where is your sister? And Lorenzo's like, oh, she's not really seeing anybody because she misbehaved, so she's kind of, sequestered for right now. And it's a cute little sort of cat and mouse game where Hieronimo keeps asking some questions to try to get at Bellimperia or maybe what she did. And Lorenzo's like, I can pass along a message to her. And Hieronimo doesn't really give a message, but he's like sending a message, to the point where when he eventually leaves, without actually leaving a message for Bellimperia, but when he leaves the stage, Lorenzo is certain that Hieronimo knows that he was responsible for killing Horatio. So he calls Pedrangano over and he's like, you know what? This was the other guy. Because there was a fourth person there whose name I can't really pronounce, Siempre or something along those lines. Not quite. It's a Siempre or something along. I'll get the spelling for you tomorrow, if it's a matter of large concern. But he's like, it was that guy. That guy is the one that went to Hieronimo and told him that we were responsible for Horatio's death. And Pedrangano's like, I don't know when he could have done that, because he's been with me like the whole time ever since. I don't know when he would have snuck away and been able to talk to Hieronimo. But of course, Lorenzo is not going to be convinced by that and is going to have some things to say in tomorrow's monologue. So I will see you then. Mwah.